So if you don't have a 168 account, all you're going to be able to do is search for products on 168 without making the payment. And you see all these cheap products, so you're going to ask yourself, well, what do I need to actually be able to use this platform to its fullest ability? Well, I'm going to go through 5 barriers and how to overcome these barriers if you ever want to consider using 1688. The first barrier to entry is Alipay. If you don't have an Alipay account, you will not be able to create your own 168 account. Quite easy to sign up. You just use your local phone number in your country, sign up, go through the one-time password, and more importantly, later on, you're going to need to verify your passport information to add your foreign bank card. Now, just because you have that foreign bank card and you're activated with passport authentication does not mean you can buy on 1688. 1688 does not allow any foreign bank card purchases with one exception, and that goes into barrier to entry number 2 after Alipay is making the payments. In order to make the payments on Alipay, you're going to either need to find like a sourcing agent, or you're going to have to open an Alipay tour card account. Now I'll go into great detail step by step on how to open an Alipay tour card account here if you want to go into more detail, but to simplify the process, go to your Alipay account, and then after you logged in and done the passport verification, then you go through the search bar, search for tour card, go to the tour card, and you simply follow the process to make an account. So then you go to use now, select the region you're from, your phone number, one-time password, and then continue on with the process. It's going to ask you for a selfie for the front page of your passport and some personal information like your address and all that, just to make sure that the card you link is actually the card you are using. And that is how you get the Alipay tour card. Note that there are limitations when using this. It can only be used within a 3-month period, and you can't spend more than 10,000 RMB when it comes to using the tour card within that 3-month period. So this is great for starters if you're just getting started and you just want to buy samples. You don't want to buy bulk orders of 1688, and you can control everything by yourself. Another thing is that you can't renew the card until after 3 months. So if you want to make larger purchases, you're going to have to wait till the 3 months expires and then go from there. The third barrier to entry is the language barrier. Yes, everything is in Chinese. So if you look at their website, everything is in Chinese, but there's an easy way to overcome that. If you're using the Google Chrome, you can install the Google Translate extension, and any website that is in Chinese, you can right click, translate to English, or you can select the extension and also translate to English there. And here you can see everything's in English. However, it does mess with the UI a bit, so be very careful when doing this, as it can affect your experience if you don't know how to read it. Also, when talking to suppliers, you're going to need to use Chinese because they don't speak any English. So to communicate with them, like I just clicked on this little bubble here, this is the chat bubble on 1688. Then you on the browser, you can open up the chat and you can chat with suppliers. So if you say, hello, how long does it take for my product to ship? Now I'm using Google Translate, I'm using English, and they can translate to Chinese. You copy this and you paste it into the chat on the browser, and then vice versa. When they respond to you, you need to get their text and use it in Google Translate, and that is the way to communicate if you're using the browser method. Another way to overcome the barrier is using something like my website, where if you have a product like on 1688 that you're interested in and you want to know more about the details, you can just search that product on my website, copy the link here, and it will take you to the product details in English. Here you can see specifications, and a new feature that will come out later is that each photo can actually be changed into English, but that will be later in end of this month when that's fully developed. And if you're using the app, there's also a way to overcome this. Unfortunately, there's no way to actually change the app into English as you saw on the website, that you can change it to English, because you might be at risk of changing the root settings of your phone and messing up your phone, especially if it's an Android. I know it's not possible at all with an iOS, but as a way around it, when you want to chat with suppliers, you can actually download this nice Microsoft with keyboard. And here you go. This Microsoft Swift keyboard plugin can be used to make a translation for you. So right now I'm saying hello in the Microsoft Swift keyboard, and then in the text of the supplier, it's translating it to Chinese immediately. And then when the supplier responds to you, you're gonna need to copy what they said and then use some kind of translation software to figure out exactly what they said on the platform. But I thought that was a cool function that you can say, I need 100 samples, and it automatically translates it from the top, and you can just click send, and that is the done deal. Now, the fourth barrier to entry is really for those that don't know how to use the platform, and there are limitations if you're not careful. So it's the operations of actually using the platform. So on 1688, if you're not careful, so I'm going to change it back to Chinese because the interface is kind of wacky. If I go to my 1688, not knowing how to place orders, how to figure out where it is in the order process, like it needs to be paid, it needs to be shipped, it's been shipped, refund process, all this stuff can get complicated if you don't know how to use it. And of course, on my channel, I have detailed tutorials on how to use 1688, whether you're using the desktop version or the mobile version on your phone. But the point is, if you're not careful, you can get scammed if the supplier knows that you're selling products overseas. They don't think you're going to check the product before you ship it overseas, which is a really big mistake. I don't recommend doing it. You can easily get scammed that way. No way to get your money back if you don't properly put a request to get a refund. Actually had someone who around $1,000 worth of products, they shipped it overseas. They didn't look at it because some freight forwarders, they don't care about what the product is. They just want the package gets in and out. They don't look inside. They don't offer the service. They just want to get paid for the shipment, and they don't want to be held responsible. So when the product arrived, it was all wrong, very bad quality, no way to get a refund. But if you knew how to get a refund on 1688, if you knew that you have a 30-day period to work with the supplier to get a refund, and if you knew that the supplier scammed you and you have proof, and you can make a complaint on 1688, the 1688 platform can use the escrow money of that supplier and give you the money back if it's truly fraud and scam. So there's ways to do that. If you don't know how to do it, that's where you run into issues. And I have a video right here where it goes into detail about how to get your money back on 1688 if you were scammed. And last but not least, the final barrier to entry is shipping. 1688 does not ship overseas. In some cases, some suppliers may ship overseas, but then it gets complicated with payments. Like, oh, if I'm shipping overseas, you need to pay in US dollars, and I can't get you the cheapest price that you would if you were to pay me directly in Chinese yuan. So you need some kind of a shipping agent to ship the products overseas. Borderless commerce does ship overseas to many countries worldwide, but it's good to have a personal shipping agent that focuses on your specific country, wherever your market is, to ship the products from the supplier to the warehouse, and then from the warehouse they can check it, repack it, or put the overseas packaging, not the Chinese packaging, on it, and then ship it to your final destination. And also, if a supplier were to scam you, how would you deal with the returns if you don't have a shipping agent in between? That is the key point. It's another benefit about having a shipping agent. You can figure out the problem soon, ship the product back, and say, I want my money back because you tried to steal money from me because you knew I was shipping overseas. Now, luckily, all these barriers to entry can be overcome by using a site like Borderless Commerce. I give you access to 1688, Pinduoduo, and Taobao without needing a Chinese bank account, without needing an Alipay. The whole platform is in English. You can either download the app on the iOS or Android, or just freely use the website and create a free to start trying it out now. So if you reach any of these barrier to entries and you're fed up with it, and you still want to buy on 1688, consider using my website. If you want to know how to easily use the ins and out of my website to be able to buy directly on Pinduoduo, 1688, Taobao, and other Chinese websites that require a lot of authentication, check out this video right here.